everyone, welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting and our weekly look back at the hot comics from 6 months ago. As always, we're looking back at the hot comics from both the CBSI Hot Top 10 and the Key Collector Comic Tom Hot 10 comics. This week, we're looking back at the comics from November 22nd, 2019, and I'm recording this on May 21st, 2020. As always, looking back at these comics is really just about trying to understand what made them hot, what made people interested, and determining whether or not they were good investments and what factors made them good or bad investments 6 months ago, or if patience would have paid off for you. So without further ado, let's get into this week's list and see what we can learn. First up is Revival number 1. This is a Tim Seeley, Ginny Friesen book. And Tom and Key Collector didn't know why this hit the list. Basically, there was no announcement they could find, but it jumped from a cover price book to a $20 book. 9.8s were going for $75 to $90, and so whatever the reason was, didn't keep up because it's fallen back. As you can see here, it's definitely trended back down. Tom basically thought maybe people were just specking that it might get optioned, which seems like a really big stretch, but it is a cool cover. So, with that, we're going to move on to a book that's related to a book that hit the list last week, and that is Coyote number 13. Last week we talked about Coyote 11, I believe, which was the first Todd McFarlane art in a comic. This is his first cover, and this still had everything to do with that CGC signing he was doing. CGC's been doing a bunch of those now, but with artists and stuff during the pandemic. But this is what caused this book to spike. We've gotten away from that signing, and it has trended back kind of where it was beforehand and back down. Next, we're going to move into the hot covers. So, JP forgot to include a book this week, so we're gonna shove it in right here. And this was one of our covers. This was Heartbeat number 1. This was the secret Mirka Andolfo 1 per store variant, and it took off right out of the gate because it was a cool cover. But the book itself didn't hold up, and therefore, like most of these secret variants, it hasn't held up either, and it's trended back down. But still, a very cool cover and cool book. Now we'll get back to our regularly recorded video. Hot covers. And the first one is a really cool cover. This is Usagi Yojimbo number 6 from the 2019 run. This is the Darrow 1 in 25 variant. And this book came out of the gate hot for 1 in 25 at double ratio, and it has continued to go. Now you'll notice I say a little all over the place on the raw prices. There was one that went for as low as 40. Most have been going for 100 plus, but there is a little bit of a scattering in what they're going for. There's only 4 listed at the moment, and they're all 175 plus. For 3 of them are raw, 1's a slab, which is like 400 plus, I believe. So this cover is very hot. It has stayed on it, and it's definitely continued to go up. The next cover we're going to talk about is Glow versus Babyface number 1. This is a Christine Noted 1 in 10. Not sure what was going on with this book, but the cover is pretty nice, and basically pretty rare. This is not a high print book. A 1 in 10 on a low print book is a little bit rarer than a typical 1 in 10. It was. As a result, it was $20 at release. Hasn't maintained that. It's come back down. Next is a little bit of comic buzz. We're going to move away from the covers. And this is Superman number 17. Showing the huge B variant, but both A and B basically were the same prices. And this hit the list because this was the issue where he made the decision that at 18 he was going to reveal his identity to the world. I'm not sure that makes it a key. I really don't get why people were chasing this, but they were at release. As you can see, both covers are back down to basically cover. So, I'm not sure why people thought this was going to be a key, but apparently some did. Next, we're going to move into auction news, and that is Renfield #1. And this is basically was picked up by Universal. This is about Dracula's henchman. And so if you remember him from any of the Dracula movies, the little henchman gopher guy that he like takes control of, Universal optioned it to make it part of their still trying for a monster verse, I guess, in the movies, and that's what this was about. And again, there's been no additional news, so it is back down. From there, we're going to move on to Conan the Barbarian #14. This is the first appearance of Elric, and this had everything to do with rumors about a TV show coming. There's been no announcement since, and as a result, obviously it has dropped back to basically what it was before. It kind of spiked, which is still, solid $15, $30 book, but nothing like what it was going for when people thought there might be a TV show. Still might be a TV show, but no news recently. Speaking of no news recently, let's move on to Robocop #1. This is the first Robocop in comics. This was actually a magazine-sized book. And this had to do with rumors that they were going to bring back the movie, have a sequel to the original 86 movie, or was it 86? I don't remember now. Kind of like they did with the Halloween, where they kind of got rid of all the sequels and made a new Halloween movie that was supposed to be a many years later, direct follow-up to the first. That's what they were talking about doing with RoboCop. Don't think it's going to happen, or no information about it happening yet, so hence back down. Next is Dark Horse presents 5th anniversary special, and this is the first appearance of the Sin City characters. They appeared in here, was the first time that whole kind of universe. Marv and several other characters appeared for the first time, and this had everything to do with rumors of a Sin City show. Can't talk. And maybe animation, maybe live action. There was rumors of potentially both that caused it to jump. And this book's actually been sitting pretty stable. It hasn't really fallen back any. So it's still kind of sitting in that same range. Next up is JSA All-Stars #4, the first Courtney Whitmore Stargirl. And this hit the list because of the announcement that the DC Universe show was also going to air on the CW, as well as on the app, and that show just started this week, so this book is very stable. It's sitting right where it was at. Don't know if the first episode was any good, but it just started airing this week. So with that, we're going to move on to Shazam #25, and this is movie spec. This is the first appearance of Isis, and rumors that she is going to be one of the characters featured in the Black Adam movie is what caused the spike. Fortunately, CBSI didn't give me any prices. I tried to look back. Best I can tell, it's actually been pretty stable, both raw and for slabs. But slabs have kind of just been, I say stable, have been variable, but variable within a range. So they've been a little bit up and down, but they're kind of in the same ballpark. You can see there, one did go for significantly more, that most recent 9.4. But otherwise, yeah, they've been pretty stable. So next up is Thor #5, the J. Scott Campbell cover. And this has everything to do with the Disney Plus show for Loki. And basically rumors that a female Loki was going to appear. They cast Sophia DiMartino, and people are thinking she might actually be the female version of Loki. Now, there's been a couple different takes on a female Loki, so this isn't necessarily the first, depending on what way they go there, but anyway, that's what was making this book spike. And finally, our last book of the week is Marvel Comics #1, and they put this on the list because a 9.4 sold for $1.3 million at auction, which is just amazing. But this is, I'm not sure it belongs on a hot comics list. This is one of probably the 4 big, at least among superhero grail comic books: Action 1, Tech 27, Cap 1, and this. I mean, those are the 4 books, aren't they? So the fact that they went for 1.3 doesn't really surprise me that much, but apparently, yeah. So that's this week's list. Obviously, we have one mega grail. Had one book, one cover that took off and kept going. Had a couple books that were pretty stable, and most everything else dropped back. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you next time.